Get loud, it's time for the show. Marcus Lee Stephenson.
Good morning. I'm sorry. Man, it's been a long day. Good evening.
Good evening.
I've been doing some stuff. Anyway, welcome to the Marcus Lee Stephenson Show. This is our, fifth episode?
Yes.
Yeah. And introduce my co-host for today is Miss Angela Carter-Clark.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, and today we are honored to have my man, Raymond Kemp Sr. And I'm going to let you know about his book, but I want to introduce him. We're going to talk about the book. We're going to talk about his foundations. We're going to talk about what he's planned to do, what he is doing. So, Mr. Raymond, we give you the floor to introduce some things that you want to talk about that we had discussed earlier.
Okay. First and foremost, it's a pleasure to be here with you both and certainly have the opportunity to just share some things that I think are important. This time that we are enduring right now, leadership is something that's very critical to me. Retention and building resilience. And so I hope that as we maybe touch some things in the book and touch some touch points throughout my career that may be interesting for folks to learn, grow, and be inspired by.
Yeah, and how many years was you in the service?
33 years, world's finest Navy.
Wow. Oh, and before I forget, thank you for your service. Mm-hmm. My brothers and I had a lot of family members that also served. So yeah, I'm honored to be here with you as well on this day. And thank you for taking the time out to even bless us with your presence.
Well, I tell you, I thank you for your support, and that language is important. I think that when service members, particularly those of us who went through some measure of combat here, thank you for your service. It takes me back to a time, sometimes a dark place and challenging time where, lives were on the line and so forth. And I thought to myself, man, is this really worth it?
Yeah.
And hearing someone say thank you for your service, it confirms that those times that I just did spend in dangerous and precarious situations were worth it.
Yeah, and for me personally, it's not just, some people just say stuff to say it. From my heart, it's meaningful because, again, family members and, I hear some stories and stuff like that, and we know the nightmares. My oldest brother, he suffers from PTSD, and I didn't know that until later. I'm just thinking my big brother, so he finally admitted it. I was like, wow, and brother-in-law as well. I was like, wow, because you hear it, but to love somebody, know somebody personally, it hits home. Definitely hit home.
I've seen the expression of faces when I talk about some of the after effects of combat. And PTSD is one thing that occurs oftentimes in very different situations. But what I like to talk about is how many amazing opportunities came out of my service and encourage, because I think we talk so much about PTSD and the battle damage. We have an impact on the recruiting.
Yeah.
and to me, that's a tiny bit, a tiny bit of it all. And by the way, we've got amazing doctors and psych docs and so forth to help keep us right. And after 30 years, culminating as the first black fleet master chief selected for Navy Europe, Navy Africa, I've been a lot of places, seen a lot of things.
Yeah.
And when I cumulatively think of service for myself and others, it's really more about the amazing opportunities to see the world and the benefits, and then our professional competencies, those areas that we worked in. Those are important and sometimes allow us to cross that blue line and come back to civilian life and still be relevant and connected. So, PTSD is a real thing, and I make my way, I have coping mechanisms to endure. But, it's still a glorious thing on Veterans Day to celebrate those folks who came back from those tough times and are here with us now.
Yeah, and what was you in sports in school, or?
I was athletic, and competitive as a young man. I was actually pretty good in school towards the end of my high school career, but I just didn't like it.
Okay.
And so I was looking for a way up out of there.
So military was your out?
It was, and it wasn't like an escape per se, but I had one of those mothers. I grew up born in the 60s, raised in the 70s.
Yeah.
those of us from that era had mothers who could look at them in a certain type of way and have an impact
Absolutely.
on our hearts and minds.
Yeah.
So
Don't get right.
she look or get it.
Yeah.
And so she was very clear. Education was really important throughout my life. But again, I just didn't like the school system. And so the Navy recruiter, I'm from Oklahoma City, or I joined the Navy from OKC. The Navy recruiter was the most persistent, and so it was an easy win for them.
Wow.
They just had no idea what they had coming. But
Yeah, hey.
we will talk about that later.
You blessed. So, and I think Angelia told me that we're both girl dads.
Yeah. Three
Tell me,
girls and a
tell me,
boy.
tell me what's that about? Oh, I got 2 boys and 3 girls. So
Oh, look at there.
I got
Okay.
you a little bit.
Well, I tell you, my daughters are, special in their own way.
Yeah.
All of them have, they're beautiful, so obviously they take after their mom. But they have a high level of confidence, wicked smart, and they have a measure of ambition and stick-to-itiveness that I'm proud of. And none of them are punks either.
Oh,
you
yeah,
say
they-
something, you say something sassy, Jack. They know, they daddy coming.
yeah, that's it.
But
like that.
I am proudly a girl dad. I had my first granddaughter about a year ago. So I'm a well, I don't know how you say that, but I got a granddaughter now.
Yeah.
And it's all right.
You want to be called Paw Paw?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. Funny story. My oldest grandson's 13, Aiden, and he's watching now. He, when he was born, I told his mother, Alexandria Nile, she's the eldest.
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to tell you right now, he's got 2 options. He can call me Master Chief, or he can call me grandfather.
Yeah.
And so he commented and said, "Hey, grandfather, happy birthday." I was hoping he called me Master Chief, but it's never too late.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I understand with daughters, but yeah, it's just I can tell. I know you girl dad when you talk about your girls, you had this grin on your face. It's
Face
like,
lights
man,
up.
them proud moments again. It's like nothing like girls.
I'll tell
you,
you.
you're gonna take care of your boys, but them girls, man, you are all in.
They are super special. If you ask the eldest, well, ask any of them. They're all the favorites.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that too. They are great young women now. The youngest is 23, and so the days of the transition from the provider to the advisor, glorious day. What a glorious day that was. And that's who I am now. The advisor to some amazing women and a strong young man.
Okay, Miss Angelia, I know you got some questions.
I do
Biting at
have
your nails.
questions. I do have questions because you have such an interesting, very, very interesting background. So I wanted you to unpack Fleet Master Chief to the layman, to the civilian. What is that?
Sure, it's I'll admit it's a bit tricky to explain. So there's the phrase where I'm from. Those who are wise have the patience to say, "I was built for such a time as this." And fleet master chiefs in general, command master chiefs, are built for that position throughout their career. So I was a IT, as I started as we call it now, as I started my career and made my way to the decision point in the Navy to either stay within my competency or become strictly a leader. So I chose the command route. There's 300 or so, 350, I think, 1,000 people in the Navy right now, and there are 4 Fleet Master Chiefs, and that's my job, the Fleet Master Chief. And if you imagine, so for your listeners who are not associated or connected to the military, if you imagine the Chief Human Resource Officer, at your corporate or private position, the chief technical officer and the chief operating officer, merge them into one, and that is the duties and responsibilities of a fleet master chief. And another way to say that, I was the right-hand man to the most senior admirals in the Navy, and was able to traverse the chain of command from the most junior to the most senior, and then bring to him or her the truth.
Wow.
And so you also utilize that insight with world leaders as well. Right?
True. There have been occasions where I have visited with prime ministers and heads of state. Particularly one time I remember, Marcus, I went to Finland, and I was visiting a base there, and I noticed an American flag. And I left there and visited another base, and there's another flag. And I look at them, and they see me looking, and they said, "Yeah, that's for you." And so they were flying the American flag because I was there. And they kind of nudged me and said, if you only knew what the State Department took us through to be able to fly that flag. But yes, ma'am, there has been more than one occasion where I had the opportunity to speak to world leaders.
Wow. Okay. So as I look over your career, I had to make a list on a sheet of paper because there's so many accolades and so many things to acknowledge. But you received the Legion of Merit.
True.
5 Meritorious Service Medals.
Okay.
Combat Action Ribbon.
Yes,
Presidential Appointee.
I am. Or I was.
Okay. Presidential Appointee, Commissioner of the American Battle Monuments Commission.
Right.
And so now in civilian life, you're a leadership developer, speaker, John Maxwell speaker, a Y Institute coach, and an author.
Yes.
So tell me about that transition from military life
Sure.
to
Becoming
civilian
you
life.
now, yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you, I was born to a single mother. I'm the nephew to 7 aunts and a grandmother, and so expectations for me were set at an early age.
Okay.
My grandmother reminded me, look, you can be anything that you dream of.
Yeah.
And my mother, in a very fierce way, she was a fierce angel. She's passed away 33 years now. She passed away, but I'll never forget her reminding me, you're as smart as anybody else. And then, the second line was, as long as you do the work. And so I started my Navy career, just, pushed all my chips to the middle, doing my absolute best at everything I was assigned, from my profession to sports for that matter. And at the end of my career, again, culminating as the Fleet Master Chief of Navy Europe, Navy Africa, about 55,000, just under 60,000 people. And the transition was pretty tricky, but what I knew is that if I commit my works to the Lord, my thoughts will become established. Mm-hmm. And if I lean not on my own understanding, then I can just perform at the highest level that I could and let the effort be my responsibility and the outcome, give that over to God. And so that's what I did. Now, I finished my career with that position I mentioned, and towards the end of that, and it's kind of tricky to explain, but I was just doing my best, and the next thing you know, someone tapped me on the shoulder. I had a guided missile destroyer, USS Mason, about 300 people, and somebody tapped me on my shoulder and said, you should apply for this aircraft carrier. So I went from 300 to 3,000, then 5,000 people. And then somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, try this, and then another tap, try that. Well, when I transitioned out of the Navy before my presidential appointment by President Joe Biden, I was just figuring out what am I going to do now that my naval career is over. And one of the things I chose to do was support a group called the National Security Leaders for America. And again, after a tap on the shoulder, I think that you should, another tap came. It was the White House Personnel Office, screening me and clearing me to ensure that I was suitable for service. And I rotated into that. And so my life, it's a lot of words right here, and I know it's a long answer, but my life has been committed to just doing my best and seeing what happens. Not, hand to the plow, not looking around, just doing my best at what I'm assigned to. And when the next opportunity comes, if I let go of that plow and get my hands onto another one.
So when you think about the mindset that it takes to be first, especially in a role like that, over 56,000 servicemen and women, what would you say to that person that is looking to make leadership jumps from 300 to 3,000 to 5,000?
Sure.
What are some of the keys to success and leadership skills that they need for that?
First and foremost, I say to thine own self be true. Realize who you are. If you know your why, your how, and your what, then the effort is a piece of cake. When you realize that what you are doing in the moment has a big impact on the mission of the organization that you're a part of, and then what is that world impact? I'll remind you of a quick story. Okay. John F. Kennedy was the story, as the story goes. John F. Kennedy was touring NASA, and he talked to a guy who was clearly a janitor, and he said, "What are you doing?" And the guy said, "I'm putting a man on the moon." That mindset, whether you're the person who's leading that group of people or whether you're the person doing that thing, when you understand the next levels of why, then it's fulfilling and rewarding to do that job. And so what I would say is that when it comes down to empathy for those who work on your team, when it comes down to the self-awareness, that is realizing the best of you and the worst of you, and because you've been with you your whole life, so you should be honest with yourself, and then take those two things especially, care for others, because a lot of people have been given credit for the statement, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Well, you express that measure of care. Some people might call it heart leadership, but when you express that measure of care for others, people will run through a troop and jump over a wall. And when we, again, stay conscious of who we are and perhaps what our objectives are, because goals are for others, objectives are for those who mean to get to them.
Say that again.
I said your goals are for others, but objectives are for those people who intend to get to them. And so when you have those objectives set, whether it be professional, personal, whether attain a particular position within your organization, you got to get after it and be committed to excellence and the fair treatment of all while you do it.
I like that.
I do
Man,
too.
that's deep.
It is.
That is deep.
So in those times of leadership in particular, I'm thinking about you mentioned that you were in combat. Were there moments that tested your courage as a leader, and and what advice would you give to someone who's in that moment?
Well, if there's a person in the military who happens to be listening and you're still serving, trust the training, trust the process. That we train, and we retrain. I'm not sure if I said it, Marcus, but we train.
Yeah. training for a purpose.
Oh
yeah,
my goodness! And
always
so
good.
that when that situation, that moment comes upon you, you react rather than think. Thinking comes from not knowing. We don't want that. We want to react to the situation, the challenge. And when we are able to do that, our team, will see that they too, who have gone through a very similar or the same training, they'll believe their training as well. Oftentimes we just have to be out front leading the way in such a way that others are willing to emulate us and that we're encouraged when they do.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. We're gonna take a short break. When we get back, I want to talk to you about your coaching. What do you, as far as now, and what do you see yourself in the next few years? I know we had briefly had a discussion about right before we came on air, so we'll follow through with that. And you also have a foundation.
I participate in a couple of foundations.
Yeah, foundation. Yeah, we want to talk about that too. We want to let people know who is Raymond Kemp Sr.
Okay, buckle up.
So yeah,
I'll tell you.
we gonna dive in.
Okay then.
Hence Navy dive in.
No,
Let's get deep.
Yeah, there you go.
terrible.
Step into your glow with Charissa Lux Skincare, where confidence begins with your skin. Our products are crafted for men and women who believe luxury should feel natural. From rejuvenating cleansers to rich hydrating serums, Charissa Lux is self-care at its finest. Because radiant skin isn't just about how you look, it's about how you feel. Discover the luxury your skin deserves. Visit www.charissalux.com today and unveil your glow.
Right, we are back. Man, you ready to do this?
Let's go. I'm
All right,
always ready.
we are back with, we're going to say Master Chief Raymond Kemp Sr.
I appreciate that.
So let's talk about organizations that you're a part of. Mm-hmm. What are you doing for the community, which is very important, and we appreciate you for that, because a lot of people, not that they have time, but sometimes it's hard for them to get involved.
Sure.
So let's talk about how did you get involved, why did you get involved, and what's keeping you involved?
Okay. So one of the organizations that I'm a part of is a foundation called Wings Over America, and we created a scholarship environment for service members who served in the Navy service members who served in the aviation community. And what that means is if you served on a base or with the aviation squadron for over an 8-year period throughout your career, then your children have access to scholarships. And we give out over $55,000 scholarships every year. And it's a repeat opportunity. And so as children, and it's not just for the children, we just opened it up for grandchildren now, and for spouses. Pardon me. And if they requalify, not just their first year, their second year, their third year, they can take that throughout their higher education and learning. And I'm super excited to be a part of that, because oftentimes those of us who served, and whether it be in combat or ashore, service is service. And so there's somebody listening or watching right now who did a 4-year bid and they didn't perhaps go into the combat zone, or maybe they didn't even leave the state. That is okay. You served. You put up your right hand. You said, I do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And that was a hard thing to do. And no matter where you did it, you had an impact on the world, and our nation is appreciative of that. But for all of those folks, who served, perhaps they didn't have the opportunity to go to college because of the job or the places that they were, but their children, and again now their grandchildren, their spouses do, through our foundation. I'm so honored to be a part of that, because I was one of those folks who just didn't have a lot of spare time, if I may. And so my 2 youngest daughters had the opportunity to use those my GI Bill and go to college, and that deferring a great amount of the cost, and that was a big deal.
Wow. Now, what's the website for our listeners and viewers?
Sure, it is, wow. If you Google search Wings Over America, you can find it that way, of course, but I think it's WOSAF.org.
Okay.
And I'm sure if you put in wingsoveramerica.org, it will take you to the website as well.
Okay, yeah. And then they'll be able to go back to the Marcus Lee Stephenson show on YouTube and review and see it as well. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Man,
I'm looking forward to that.
That's powerful.
It's just, I think being a part of the community of effort to make this place, to make the world better, is important to me. I started Kemp Solutions with the idea I just want to change the world.
Yeah.
I mean, some people might think that's a big deal, and it is a big deal, but it's not hard.
Yeah, one at a time.
Look, step by step. And so as I have the opportunity to talk to leaders and teach them how to create that environment of psychological safety and to treat their people with dignity and respect, they take that home, they take that into the community, and they would change the world. Okay, that's what I do for a living. What am I doing when it comes down to talking to those young men and women and having impact on their hearts and minds? One of my favorite ways to do that is through Wings Over America.
I like that. Wow, that's, man, I'm like speechless right now, because it's like man, I'm listening to you, and I was like, man, how impactful it is to our community. Our kids, grandkids, everybody gonna need services like that. And there's like tons of foundations, but if we don't know about them, what good is it?
And that is the thing, figuring out where can we get our hand to that community plow, right, and do the work and to help others. And there's more.
Okay.
One of my buddies, and I call him a buddy now, he was a sailor that worked for me, who has grown into a peer and a client, and he has a foundation called Dion's Chicago Dream. And they are fighting food insecurity in Chicago like you would not believe. Wow. I mean, absolutely bootstrap built. You hear me? I mean, he decided one day we're going to start a GoFundMe account, and that has grown into a multi-million-dollar nonprofit organization in Chicago that is feeding thousands of people across Chicagoland. And I'm a proud Dream Team member.
Yes.
And having an impact in the community that way as well.
Yeah, definitely keep us posted on that, because we like to get involved with community activities and doing what we can, and whether it's on air, whether it's getting the word out, letting people know about it, because that's what, again, my grandmother used to always say, you can have the cure to cancer, the cure to the common cold, but if don't nobody know about it, what good is it?
Facts.
So we have to be able to spread the word out.
Check.
Angie always laughs, I always talking about, because I'm country. And she always say about my mama then, my grandmama then. So,
yes, sir.
But like you, I was raised around a lot of women. Even my dad and the men, but I was always influenced by their love that they gave to people.
Sure.
And they just loved on people.
Yes, sir.
I think that's how I am now.
And I'll tell you, thank goodness for aunties, grandma, big mama and them, because if it had not been for them showing us what right looks like, we may not know what right looks like.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's good. Yeah.
Wow. Go ahead, Andy. I know you got questions.
Well, that's my job. That's what you
Yeah, I know. I mean,
right?
I want you to have questions.
No, I was thinking as you were talking about, leadership and then also the impact on your family.
Right.
What don't we know about the softer side of leadership? Were there moments where the leader in you got in the way of the man in you in your home in
Or your
terms of
girls.
how you responded and reacted and how your children looked at you?
Sure.
Were you Master Chief or
Right.
Dad?
Right. And it's a tricky switch, to be able to transition from that person that you are in the workplace to that feeling you get in the driveway before you get out of the car and go in. I like to describe the climate and culture in the professional space as the culture is set by, the CEO and the organization. Here's what the culture, I think it was Ford who said, quality is job one. Well, that was set, at the highest levels.
Yeah.
But the climate of that place is that feeling you get when your car touches your tires hit that parking bumper and you're getting ready to go in and have that first interaction with a person.
Yeah.
Well, when you leave there, same thing happens. For me, because I'm the prophet, priest, provider, protector of my household, I am the thermostat. When I walk up in there, I'm setting the tone
I
because
like
that's
that.
who I
The
am.
I like
Here
that.
I
The
come.
thermostat.
So when I walk in the house, I had to very intentionally be able to dial that thing back. One thing about my children, and I was married for a long time, I'm divorced now, to a wonderful woman, but I could walk into the house, look in the eyes of those folks and realize who I was. In that place.
Yeah.
And now if somebody mess around and roll up on us, they're going to have to deal with all this. but when I walked into the house, it was very clear to me who I was and my hope for others. And I would talk to a client this way. It's important to have a routine, not just when you wake up in the morning and get your day started, but also as you begin to decompress on your way home. Or if you're working from home, being able to decompress as you grab that door, shut off that computer or whatever tool you use, and transition back into your household.
Yeah.
And it may be just 5 points of, okay, I'm going to make sure I do my we call it square breathing, box breathing. 4 seconds in, holds for 4, 4 seconds out, holds for 4, and then repeat. Just to bring your heart rate down and to recalibrate your mind of who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And then think about, say their names, the people that you're getting ready to deal with, and whether it be that scruffy dog or whether it be them fun, to play with children or them knucklehead children, whichever one.
Yeah.
Because everybody has what they have.
Yeah.
But, very intentionally, create that routine and those habits so that you can transition back into that. And it takes a level of effort. It takes a lot of self-discipline to do that.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Me being a dad, had opportunity to raise my kids until they got older. And no matter how my day was at the office, frustrated or happy, before I got home, I was able to, in that driveway, to detox, to let all that air out.
Sure.
So when I open up that door, I'm listening to my kids, asking them, how was your day? Do you need help with your homework?
Sure.
What are we going to eat? What do y'all want to eat?
Right.
So I had to be present in them and not, and then after they eat and go to bed and all that, then I'm in my room like, man, today was crazy, but they didn't see that.
Sure.
They just saw Dad.
I tell you that my version of the household and what I think happened whenever I hear the children talking is always different.
Yeah.
One thing that was tricky at the end is my headquarters is in Naples, Italy, and so I had a very serious presence. I mean, I was known on the radio. I was known throughout, actually, particularly in Europe. And so I might go visit the school, and when I go to visit, it's a thing. I mean, there's bands, and it's a big entourage and so forth. But then my daughter's like, "That's my dad."
Yeah.
It's all that. But
Yeah,
at the end, that I'm gonna see it at home tonight.
No, that's good. I did that too. My kids were. I never told them I was at their school. So I would just leave work, go because the principal, everybody knew me. I go in there and just peek in, check in, and my son, Dad, were you at our school today? I said, why? Because I could have sworn somebody said we seen your daddy walking down the hall.
That's funny.
You
Yeah.
know.
But I think it's important. It just again leadership wise. I mean that's a leadership touch. I think that children should know that we're watching, even when they don't know that we're watching, and so that we can create that measure of expectation of performance, and
Correct.
we can maintain that. We can create the expectation that somebody's going to be there.
Yeah.
And so that's important.
Man. So
Wow.
tell us what's next for Master Chief Raymond Kemp
I'll
Sr.
tell you what, sky is the limit. My God, there's no limits, no boundaries for real. You know, my left, right, lateral limits are pretty strict.
Okay.
I'm a speaker, trainer, coach, and I prefer to say I'm a speaker who can train and coach. And
I like that.
I think what's next for me, you know, just coming down the pike. Today is just a super big day. Really glad to be here. It's been on my calendar, you know, with lights around
appreciate
it.
Well, thank you.
Of a big online meeting in December with a group of folks that we're partnering with to do a conference in in Liverpool. Trying to remember where the Beatles from. In Liverpool and over in Manchester. So John Moores University, we have created a really, really great partnership with them.
wow.
And we may actually be able to extend that stay rather than just the 2-day conference the first week in May. They've already asked us about coming a week early to participate in some other things.
Oh,
And
so they're bringing you over there.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going on my own. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I mean, there's some things that we do gratis, but not a
Yeah.
lot. Not a lot at all.
And with
That was
being-
then, this is now.
yeah.
But now, yesterday's situation is not today's.
Yeah, with that being said, definitely take the little extra days that they offering.
Tell you what,
Yeah,
and
eat good.
That'll be in May. Before that, I have the opportunity to go to Beverly Hills, and I'm speaking at an event.
Okay.
With some leaders who are looking to glean from the book ways that they can maintain retention, because in this era that we're living in, retention is tough in the workplace, and so build resilience, increase retention.
I like that.
Well, speaking of the book, you have that anchored in adaptability. That's
Right.
kind of, so it seems to be an oxymoron. How could you be anchored but then be adaptable at the same time?
Right. Well, the thing is being committed to the change, being
Okay.
committed to the process. And so it's anchored in adaptability. And I mean for it to cause people to pause and stimulate that gray matter. Am I holding true to my own measure of integrity and character? Am I holding true to the mission, the vision, the guiding principles of our organization? And because I am, I will remain adaptable, agile, mobile, and hostile is what we say in the Navy. Forget the hostile part, but agile.
Well, I mean, sometimes it might be necessary.
As I said, you walk up on me, it might be more than you think. But that anchored in adaptability is exactly that. We as leaders ought to be committed to those things.
Yes.
And then that commitment allows us the flexibility to adapt and overcome to challenges and changes that may come up.
Wow, that's awesome.
So how important, I'm sure you think it's very important in today's time. We have so much change, people who are being forced out of their jobs, and things like that. How important is that resilience to them right now?
Let me tell you what, it is. It should be top of mind for all of us. People will give resilience, various different names. From my perspective, the difference between resilience and grit and persistence is that resilience is like that snowflake that hits the mountaintop and rolls into a snowball and then becomes a giant snowball as we're gaining momentum and getting better and better. That's what resilience is, more so than grit or persistence. It's like a ball bearing, for example, hitting that same mountaintop. It's going to roll down, not get any bigger. It's going to remain a ball bearing. In these days, the ability, and if you get to the book and you jump over, this is a spoiler alert, and I like those. If you jump over to chapter 9, it talks about what I describe as the TICAC model, It's trust, because trust is crucial. When we trust one another, we will include others. I call it the TICAG model, TICAG. So trust, inclusion, the adaptability. Again, that creates a space once we've got that trust and we're inclusive with one another, and we collaborate. Then that adaptability is going to come natural, and then the G is for growth. And so when we think about that for ourselves, do I know my why, how, and what? When people meet me, and I said this to you the other day, my why in life is to find a better way and share it with other people. My how is that I will challenge the status quo and traditional thinking. Ultimately, what I bring is a contribution to others, whether it be an individual or to an organization. That's just who I am. And when you confidently know that, and that's one of the points that I teach to and coach to, when you know that, then your resilience is just going to naturally go up.
Wow, I like that.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Let's
So
go.
I was thinking as you define resilience and what it is, and leadership, we talk about what it is, but what is it not?
It's not that corner office, it's not some Gucci title that you have. It is absolutely not what you're wearing.
Not the red carpet.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's not that, fat check. It's not. Leadership is absolutely not the tangible things. Leadership is often mistaken, for, he's got this pin on, or she's got those red bottom shoes, or, she's got that office with the big view. That is not leadership, not at all. And I think it's more important, and I think it's more important that we strive towards impact rather than strive to attain things.
Yes. Yeah.
I think we talked about that. What people strive for is power. What they see is power and the ability to dominate others and to really command and control situations.
It's true.
So,
And that's so overrated.
Yeah.
I mean, coercion is a leadership style. Let's not get that mixed up. Coercion is a leadership style and technique that should be used with a high level of brevity. The rest of leadership, the more important parts of leadership, is that we're stronger together.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this about leadership. As a leader, when you have people, your friends, family, look up to you, did that put pressure on you, or how did that affect your daily life? Because you say, okay, I'm not in the military no more. This is me, but I'm still a leader.
Right.
So when you're home, remote sandwiches, whatever you're gonna do, but when you're out in public, is it you have to put on a different cape, or you keep the same cape? Because I know how, I say this because sometimes people look at you like, oh, you're strong, but sometimes strong men have weak moments.
Absolutely.
Men and women. So how do you encompass that with you being looked at as this leader,
Sure.
but you say, but I have weakness too.
Well, there's occasions where, first of all, I just am who I am, and I show up, I'm 6'1", 250, that's going to have an impact on people, just period.
Yeah.
Oftentimes,
Oh, here you go.
I mean,
it is what it is.
what it is,
Yeah.
right? And so there have been moments where I just want to be who I am, and people just can't handle that. And so what I have learned to do is just, interrogate, the situation, and determine whether or not it is truly a safe space, safe to share, psychological safety and so forth.
Yeah.
Can I just be me?
Yeah.
Can I create that environment for you to say to me, you're just a regular dude. Can I do that? If I can, then so be it. And then I can, take off some of this armor, and reveal just a tiny bit of leprosy that I'm dealing with. Maybe you can help me.
Yeah.
But if sometimes I don't. My inner circle is smaller than Cheerio, and I have a very, very few times where I can be the person I'm describing.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I get it. Angie always, I'm going to let her tell the story, but yes, I am.
What story is that?
She's shaking her head. No, she would, how you always tell me, be me.
Yeah.
I literally used to, we would record or something, and I'd be like, she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting to me. She said, it's still you. So,
There's levels to this.
yeah,
thing now.
yeah. That's why. It's so Angie, go ahead, because I mean, she got me right now, but she just said, "See, I told you." I said, "Yeah," but I just felt like, the cape.
Sure.
I had to, around my kids, I put on daddy cape. Around business wise, I put on a different cape.
Sure.
But she said, "Just be you. You're the same person."
Well, I think what happens sometimes too is we get to a point in life where we are shaped by someone else's perception of us, and it's not at all who we are.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when people get to a certain place, and we say that they had a midlife crisis, but in actuality, they just really stopped. They wanted to take the mask off
Sure.
and become themselves. And so, and that's what I noticed, that there were, and God has given me that ability to see a lot of gifts and talents and opportunities in people as well as situations. And so I was able to kind of tap into those with him to say, okay, you have additional gifts and talents and skills. Here's some other opportunities for you to take advantage of. But that's just, and I did that with my team. I actually, with my team, realigned their roles, redefined their roles, new job descriptions.
Sure.
So that they were better aligned with who they were and what they enjoyed, so that what they did was no longer work.
Yeah.
It was just an extension of who they were.
Just what you do.
And because of that, we were so much more effective as a team
Sure.
in terms of what we were able to get done. We were almost like SEAL Team 6 going in. People were, they were really in awe of some of the things that we were able to do. Yeah. But, you mentioned that in your command of that ship, that you were able, I think your squadron was number 1. What did you say about that?
Yeah. Harry S. Truman, I was command master chief of the ship, and we were the number 1 in the fleet. We had the highest scores when it came to professional competency. We had a 9-month deployment where we brought every person back, every aircraft back, no suicides, no homicides, no combat damage. That's an uncommon thing. And it really goes to.
But how did you achieve that?
Just creating that sincere level of care. And it was difficult. On small ships and guided missile destroyers, it's a workhorse of the Navy. And you had 300 people. Well, 300 people can't, each division or department that's broken down may not be able to handle everything. Yeah. And so you have to go help. And you know that the people responsible for bringing stores on the ship can't do it all by themselves. And if you like ice cream, you should help.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the thing. But on an aircraft carrier, I remember the first time we were doing something hard, I asked the folks responsible, I said, hey, how many people do you need? And the first lieutenant, he looked over at me and said, I've got 120 able-bodied seamen down there. I don't need any help. And I thought, wow. And then I realized the folks in the air department, 700 people, they don't need help. The folks in the nuclear reactor plant, they don't need help. How do we create that level of care? And through a series of science projects, we were able. The chief's mess is about 200 of us on the aircraft carrier. And in that space, we had a conversation about the importance of we, not me, and started communicating across the lines of responsibilities and create that sincere level of care for one another and do some cross-training and some other creative things that allow people to see other opportunities, as you described with your team. And that bonded us together like nothing I had ever seen or have heard of since. And that is what allowed us to operate at the highest level. The achievements of that crew were really just for the ages. I know we talked a little bit about cybersecurity and so forth. There's a cybersecurity standard that gets inspected on all ships. Oh, wow. No one had ever passed it until they came to that ship. Wow. We have aviation maintenance inspections, inspections that get done. We got 100% didn't get anything wrong. No down checks. That had never been done before. Wow. And I fully believe. And in the 3 years I was there, 33 months I was there, 33 months on a ship named for the 33rd president, by the way. The time that I was there, we had 0 suicides, 0 homicides, not just during the deployment, but even in our time ashore. And it's hard when you have a ship built for fighting that's back at home, doing maintenance and things like that, preparing to go. We had none of those things. that came from creating that level of care for one
Yeah.
another and changing the culture from we can do this by ourselves, then we can do this together.
Together, yeah. I like
So that was it.
Yeah. So
Man.
that we, not me. What don't we know about the community, you know, of the armed forces in terms of the families and how they collaborate and you know, and how they relate to each other? What don't we know about that?
Ooh, we gotta have another show for that. Because let me tell you something. As a Navy person, I joined the Navy in San Diego. Well, I went to San Diego for training. We were adjacent to the Marine Corps base, and the Marines hated the Navy. And I was like, what is this all about? What is all this back and forth?
Yeah.
And going further back in history, there was a battle where the Marine Corps thought that we left them, when in fact we were actually out at sea fighting to ensure that this Guadalcanal didn't get overrun. But they felt like we left them, and so it created all these challenges. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But we're a tribe of tribes, and so to describe that is tricky. Though I'll say this. All of us know there's a phrase that there's a fellowship in the suffering. And so we have done something hard. I grew up playing football and running track. And in Oklahoma, we used to have 3-a-day practices. And it's probably illegal now, but 3-a-day in the summer. You know what I mean?
2 a days, but 3 a days.
And it was a monster, but it was done. So, and even 2 a days, where we would be bonded closer together.
Yeah.
And the same thing at various different levels of sports. When you're going through hard things, it creates a measure of community and
pull
support
together.
that we can align with. And so whether you be in the Army, first and finest, or the Marine Corps, first to fight, or in the Navy with those of us who walk on water, then you realize that we've all done something hard. That commitment to the Constitution, by the way, not a flag, not a song, certainly not a person, but to the Constitution and the ideals of the Constitution that binds us together quickly. And so when folks are off on deployment, again, no matter what the service is, those families know they can rely on one another.
Yeah.
And so the support is not just those men and women who are getting after it and doing those things. Their support structure is also woven together. And so that is how, that's probably the thing that people don't understand fully, is how can you so instantly trust somebody just because they were in the service, or their family members are in the service. And that bond, my children moved around the country. My middle daughter went to different high schools her sophomore, junior, and senior year. Her senior year, she was in Europe. And she was so accustomed and had the personality of that transient life that she was like the prom queen or something. The first the first year she was there. I mean, but
You're like, okay, yeah.
It's the speed of trust. A book called Speed of Trust. It's a good book, actually. But the speed of trust is something that creates that space that people just don't really understand. And I think the best way to describe it is that there is that fellowship in the suffering, and the willingness to help others be better.
Wow, man, that's deep. Now, I want to dive in a little bit about your book. How do people get it, and what can they expect out of it?
Okay, so the way to get it, there's a couple ways. You can jump on Amazon and order it there, and it'll be there in a day, whatever the case may be. You can DM me, and I can sign you a copy, and we can do it that way with regard to how you get the book. The book, and hopefully you can see it on the camera, but the book is not super big, and I meant for it to be that way. My hope for you is when you get the book in the mail, or or if you catch me on the street and I have one in the trunk.
No, they don't want to catch you on the street. You a big dude, man.
If they approach right, it's all good.
Hey,
But if you, when you get the book, my hope is that you see the book and you're like, oh, I could knock this out on a weekend. And then on Monday, when you go to work, you got tools. Matter of fact, Sunday evening, when you get done, you got tools to use at your house. That's the intention behind the
Okay.
book, that there would be leadership tools that people can use immediately upon finishing the book. And those tools go towards building resilience.
And do you have any book signing plan events coming up?
Nothing coming up, but I will certainly keep you posted
Okay, definitely
when we
keep us
do.
posted. Yeah, we'll definitely let people know how to reach you. Did you give them your Instagram, your social media,
Sure.
Facebook?
Oh, yeah, thank you
Website.
for that. Yeah, I am on all socials at Raymond G. Kemp. LinkedIn is where I do most of my work, and the medium.com. There I'm Raymond Kemp Sr. And then my website, if you're interested in following me there, is kemp-solutions.com. And again, don't forget that dash, kemp-solutions.com. And I'd love to interact.
Yeah, and you guys can, as always, follow us. I am Marcus Lee Stephenson,
On Facebook, I'm Angela Carter Clark.
and always follow the Marcus Lee Stephenson Show and subscribe, because you'll get a chance to see all our past and present shows. And soon we're going to have a calendar on there, so y'all get to see who's going to be on in the next couple of weeks. We've been working very hard on that, because a lot of people ask, who's next?
That's
So,
good
yeah.
leadership. Create that
Yeah.
predictability.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's definitely been a blessing, and it's been an honor. I can say it over and over and over again and mean it each time the same way. It's been an honor to be sitting here beside you through all you've been through.
Thank you.
And quick question, as I know all you are, but to your kids, you're a dad, and
Yeah.
that's what's important.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, Dad, you can have the red carpet out for you, but when they see you, they hug and love on you.
True fact.
And that makes, I know for me, for you, I know it just makes you just feel like, man, this is what's important.
Yeah, it's great
Yeah.
grounding.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
sir.
just keep you busy. Any last thing, Miss Angela?
No, I just, again, appreciate your time. Again, thank you for your service. We, as you were, had the lights around your calendar, so did we, just to make sure that we did you justice today.
appreciate that.
So
Yeah.
thank you again for honoring
Yeah.
us with your presence, and we look forward to collaborations in the future and ways that we can support you.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got ideas, so
Oh, yeah.
realize I'll be calling.
Okay.
If I could, one last thing I would like to say though is that, please, follow and connect and grab the book and those things. But remember that it's really just 10 two-letter words that will make you a better person. 10 two-letter words that'll certainly make you a better leader. Those 10 words are: if it is to be, it is up to me. Dig in for yourself. No need for handouts. Just have the opportunity to do your best and then do it. If it is to be, it's up to me.
I like that. Oh, and one more thing I always wanted to say, and I'll be remiss if I didn't say it because I keep forgetting. We have started after show, so the following day, like tomorrow, you'll be able to see the behind the scenes, the after show. Today, we're going to have Professor Linda do a one-on-one with Chief Master Raymond Kemp Sr., and so be sure to check it out. And just leave your comments. Let us know how we can get better, because that's what we are, a community to grow, to get better. And I'm just, again, thankful.
I am thankful as well. So
Yeah. And we are getting ready to leave you, but not leave you. We'll see you again. Trust me.
now who's our guest next week, Marcus?
We are having Melinda. She is from, wow, it's powerful. She has a foundation called Mother of Angels, if I'm saying
Murdered
that correct.
Angels.
Murder of Angels. And yeah, she has a foundation as well, and it talks about parents who have lost loved ones, grandparents who have lost loved ones. I was touched when I was able to reach out to her. A good friend of mine had told me about her, so we was, and the first conversation was all love, and you just gotta watch it. I'm getting myself ready for it mentally.
We'll be an emotional. We expect it to be an
gonna
emotional.
especially during the holidays. So make sure you guys tune into that. And we are getting ready to be dismissed.
Good deal. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.